Welcome into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And first of all, coach, congratulations on that win. And I would just love to hear what you feel like you've learned about your team, not only just with a win like this, but coming off of last week and what that means for what kind of a team and what kind of leaders in locker room you have.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes of the leadership that we have in our locker room to bounce back from that loss. But then this disruption of the storm, messing up Wednesday and Thursday's practice routine, and then the malfunction with the airplane and being 9 hours late getting to Charlotte. I think our guys stayed focused, and the leadership in the locker room was at its best.
Yeah, for people who maybe don't always know the ins and outs and minute details of the schedule throughout the week, what does the changing of the practices for the hurricane and the delay with the plane, what all does that affect and change and do for what you guys have in terms of a routine and schedule set up?
I think for a young team or a team that's out of it, it can be a huge distraction. Our guys didn't miss a beat. Finished up practice on Wednesday, got out of the building with the hurricane and tornado warnings, and came back in later, changed the whole schedule for Thursday, got all our work done, sat on the tarmac for 6 hours and sat around, ate pizzas and ate sandwiches in shelter, and still no night meetings, got up and played a heck of a ball game.
Yeah, that's incredible. And, Tom Brady is now 8-1 on games coming off of a 20-plus point loss. What does that say about him, and why has he been so successful in those games after big losses?
I think he's got a lot of pride. And his focus never changes. But when you lose, he has a way of willing himself on everybody else to make sure they're ready and prepared.
And I got to know, why is he so good at that QB sneak, especially there right on the goal line?
He's always been really good at it. He's one of the best that's ever been. But if they give him the look, they've got a little signal they give each other, and away he goes.
And for you now, the team not losing 2 in a row at all this season, how important is that? And again, why do you think that that's been a stat you guys have been able to maintain? And just, how important is that in terms of trying to have success this year?
No, there's no doubt. You never want to lose 2 in a row. And, leaders on defense, leaders on offense, and the kicking game, everybody, had a great week of preparation. Everybody was embarrassed and pissed off about the loss to the Saints, and went out and got a win.
Yeah, 46 points and I think 544 total yards of offense. What does that mean of how you guys were able to go from, again, scoring just 3 points last week to having such an offensive explosion? What caused that? What was working so well offensively?
Well, we got the lead, and we were in a tie ball game rather than being way behind. So the running game was outstanding. Rojo had 192, I think, and had a great big play. And I think when you stay balanced, you can keep your offense going. Our defense played lights out in the second half, and really from the second quarter on. And it was a good team effort.
And after going 1 for 9, converting third down last week, you convert 6 of the first 7 this game. I think you ended up converting 10 out of 16, especially in that third down situation. What was different and what was working well?
It was just good game plan. We played the game a lot in 6 or less. But then when we got into 7 to 12s, 13s, we got good protection. Tom found guys got open, and we converted some long ones.
And Rojo, the 98-yard run, first of all, I hear that you say you called that, which is convenient, I'd like to point out, but it sounds like you at least did have a witness on the sideline of this.
Yeah, Blake called it, and I agreed with him. He said, hey, he's going to split this one. I said, he's got a great chance. As soon as we saw that middle linebacker move over, he said, could take it to the house, and he did.
And how impressed were you by his performance, even aside of that play, and especially coming off a really early in the game fumble? What did it say about him, of not only mentally, but then physically, and just everything that he was able to contribute to this offense? Yeah,
he overcame it. We told him, said, look, man, that play's not changing this game. He got real down on himself in New York when he fumbled the ball after trying to get up off the ground, catching that pass, and then this guy made a good play, stripped him and punched the ball out, but just said, you're the guy. You're going to come back in there. You're going to do some great things in this game, and he did.
And you had 4 receivers go for more than 50 yards. How did you feel about the way you guys were able to spread it around? And is this sort of the ideal situation to have, that many guys being that involved?
Yeah, this is a perfect situation. You got guys who can win one-on-one all the way across the board, and then, in zone defense, Tom can distribute and just get the guy that's open and get him the football, and they'll make plays for him.
And Mike Evans, definitely one of those guys that saw his targets, touches, everything sort of increase this week. Six catches for 77 yards, a touchdown. What was working to be able to get him the ball more? Because I know that's something in recent weeks you guys have talked about, trying to find ways to give him some more opportunities.
Yeah, he wasn't double covered the whole time, and they did play some man, and we were able to get him free a few times. Had him deep one time, missed him, and we left some yards out there. I mean, 545, whatever it was, sounds good, but it should have been bigger.
I love that with coaches. You guys never just completely satisfied. There's always more yards and more plays that can be made. Take us through his touchdown in particular. I mean, I feel like that's got to be one of my favorite catches I've seen Mike make, while being here, which is saying something.
Yeah, he ran a deep end on the backside, and Tom threw a nice high ball, and he went up and got it. He got that great length and was able to maintain control. And the guy, made the heavy contact, got both feet down, and did a really good job of not getting stripped.
And Chris Godwin, I mean, again, another game we would love reminding people with pins in his fingers. I want to make sure no one ever forgets that situation of how recently he broke that finger, and to have almost 100 yards and contribute the way he did. How impressed were you by that and just by his play overall?
It was fantastic. Some of those catches were not easy. A couple one-handers. And like you said, with pins in his fingers, that just makes it unbelievable that he's even out there. But to perform like that with it and block, I mean, Chris is the ultimate pro.
And Antonio Brown, 7 catches for 69 yards. How impressed were you with his play and just where he's able to be in terms of, again, still his second game with you guys of how quickly he's been able to contribute that much?
Yeah, he's embraced his role, and he's very, he's sharp. He was where he's supposed to be. A couple little things we can clean up, but we had him wide open deep too, and we missed him. There was a really tricky wind in that stadium. And it's really why we didn't try that field goal. We didn't think we could make it from the 30-yard line in the fourth quarter, so we went for it on fourth down. It got a little bit closer, and Ryan was able to knock it in.
So do you think the wind was a big factor on some of the missed deep connections?
Oh, there's no doubt. That ball just kept sailing.
And when did you make the decision to have Antonio Brown be one of your return guys, and just overall, take us through some of the decisions with kick return, punt return, and how that worked when you found out that Jaydon Mickens wouldn't be available?
Antonio's been a great punt returner for a long time. I hated to see him get hit on that fair catch because it was really, really scary. But he did a really good job of fielding the ball, making good decisions, and Tyler Johnson would handle kickoff returns, and we'll see what happens when we get Jaydon back and from the COVID.
All right, well, we still have more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, talking more about that Panthers win and the upcoming Monday night game against the Rams, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And I just wanted to hear a little bit more about the offensive line play. We talked a little bit about that 98-yard run and some of the great blocks that were made for that. And when you have 544 yards of offense, it's safe to say the O-line was probably doing their job pretty well. Yeah,
they really did a good job, especially in the running game. Have over 200 yards rushing. Pass protect extremely well. I think we had 1 sack. Tom got hit a couple of times, but overall, the move from A.Q. Shipley to center, Ryan Jensen to guard, I thought really helped our running game. And hopefully we'll get Allie back next week, but we want to be very, very careful with him too. So I thought as a group they all got game balls, and it was a heck of a performance by all of them.
Yeah, and take us through that decision to make that move and what all goes into it, because I think sometimes people who maybe haven't played offensive line or don't know the little details of that, you just think, oh, just move a guy over, but there's definitely a little bit more to it than that, and especially when it involves your center quarterback exchange. So how did you feel comfortable making that move, and what all goes into making sure those guys are ready to play at those particular spots?
Well, yeah, I had no problem with AQ playing center. He and Tom worked together a lot every day in practice, so that part wasn't Ryan hasn't played guard in a while. Technically, his pass protection was really solid. I was really happy with the way he played, and we had a couple of things where we can clean up like everything else, but that was, to get bigger, stronger guys in there. Joe Haig we had last week, and we just got into a game that was just all passing, and most of that's on me. But this one stayed nice and balanced, and we were able to run and throw as much as we wanted to.
And Gronk, 44-yard catch, his longest play as a Buccaneer so far. Take us first through that play, and then just how you felt like his play was overall.
Yeah, we got him in seam and had the rookie, who's a really good player, Jeremy Chin, with his back turned. Tom put a great ball on the back shoulder, and then Gronk just threw him off. And I thought he was going to score. I was surprised they got him down.
And overall, just the tight end group overall was a huge contributor to the game. We saw Cam Brate and Anthony Auclair's snaps definitely increase. And I wanted to hear how much of that is just what the game plan was sort of dictating versus them and what they've sort of earned in their playing time, and just how you overall wanted to use the tight end group in that game.
Yeah, we always want to use multiple tight ends as much as we possibly can in the game plan, and then utilize our 3 wide receiver sets too. But the tight ends were big. Cam made a couple big plays, got the touchdown and a huge 3rd and long, diving over the guy, making the first down. Anthony blocked well. Tanner Hudson played. It was a good showing by our tight ends.
Yeah, can you take us through those 2 Cam Brate plays and what worked so well in each of those, and why they were as impressive as they were?
But normally we have a saying that 3 can't cover 2, and we put Cam behind Mike over there, and they double covered Mike, and Cam was singled, and he won, and Tom put a great ball, and Cam made a nice catch and got it in the end zone. The other, he was chipping and got out in the flat. It was 3rd and long. We had great protection. Guys kept sinking on defense. Got him in the flat, and he got a running start and made a nice diving play to get that first down.
All right, well, we still have more coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show, continuing to talk about that win over the Panthers and look ahead to the game coming up against the Rams. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Bruce Arians Show. Casey Phillips here with head coach Bruce Arians. And I wanted to hear about the defense, particularly the difference in the first half versus the second half, what you thought made that difference when, I think allowing, less than 100 yards total for them in the second half. And what changed essentially at halftime? Was it what was discussed? Was it an energy thing? What kind of happened there?
Yeah, it was really after the first quarter. We started out, they were throwing the ball really quick and then getting it out of their hands quick. And we changed up some coverages. Our communication was poor early in the ball game. Then at starting the second quarter, they hit the one play on Carlton. He got caught in between of press man-to-man and bailing out of there. And Teddy made a nice throw, but we should have had a blitzer coming free, and he should never got that ball off. Todd talked about the communication on the sideline, reiterated it at halftime. I thought we played outstanding defense the second half, really the midway of the second quarter all the way through, and just really limited to what they did. We took the quick throws away, made him hold the football, and the front 4 really got after him.
And how about Carlton Davis's performance? I know he'd missed a day of practice with a sore knee, and then there was a little bit of a scare at one point during the game, it seemed like, but he was able to come back in and continue playing. And just how impressed you were with his ability to fight through all of that, and then how his play was.
Yeah, his play was solid other than that one play. Kind of got caught in no man's land, and then when he dove to make the tackle, he got kicked, got the wind knocked out of him, but he bounced right back into the ball game. He's been playing really, really well all season, and this was another good, solid game.
And how about the rest of the DBs and their performance in the game? How did you feel about them?
Yeah, I thought it was outstanding. I didn't like the play right before half, even though it was incomplete. Mike Edwards bid on an out and up move, and with 21 seconds, you shouldn't do that, and just play deep as the deepest. And but luckily, it was incomplete and did no harm.
And what were some of the similarities and differences to the Saints offense and the Panthers offense and the way you guys were planning to try to cover them and take them on? And maybe were you able to learn some things from that Saints game that ended up applying to the Panthers game defensively?
They're very, very similar, especially in their philosophies and some of their concepts on offense. Davis is Mike Davis is a really, really hard tackle. He hit a couple runs, but after that we kind of really settled down. But again, it's totally different with Drew, and Teddy's a really, really good player. We just didn't have our best stuff with the Saints, and this time we played better.
And how about Jason Pierre-Paul, not only adding another sack, which I think puts him at 7.5 on the season overall, but gets that interception, which I'm sure, especially after one that he almost had against the Saints, was very exciting for him. So take us through his play overall and maybe those 2 individual plays and what he did so well.
Yeah, he's relentless. He kept chasing and chasing, came around the back end and got the sack, and unfortunately Teddy got hurt. I hate to see that. But his interception was fantastic. He dropped in the zone. We had great pressure. They let the ball go. He held on to it, and really, really happy for him. JPP, he's a ball of energy every time he steps out on the field. He's having a great season.
Yeah, and explain how impressive it is that all of the things that a guy like JPP is asked to do in this defense and just the outside linebackers overall, the different roles that they can play.
Yeah, they're rushing, they're dropping, they're playing over guards, over centers. We move those guys around a bunch, he and Shaq, and they're so multiple that we can utilize them in a lot of different roles. And you're always thinking they're coming all the time, and then all of a sudden it's Levante and Devin come up the middle and they're dropping. So it gives us great flexibility.
Yeah, and speaking of Levante and Devin, another game where they're in there every single snap. And how did you feel like they were able to play and contribute? And how amazing is it that not only are they asked to do so much in the defense, and whether it's sideline to sideline or like you mentioned blitzing and all that, but they're doing it every snap of the game.
Yeah, they played. This was a really, really solid game. Levante, uncharacteristically missed 2 tackles, which you never see that happen. And like I said, Davis is a tough tackle, but they both played really, really well.
And I mean, I feel like that's just something that we need to even focus more on, the fact that when Levante misses a tackle, it is noticeable because of how rare that is. What would you say are his biggest strengths of his game and what sort of separates him from other inside linebackers? And I know I've heard a lot of people talking about that maybe he and Devin are the best duo, which I'm sure you can have a completely unbiased response to, but where is the truth in that potentially across the league?
Yeah, I think Devin is playing really, really well for a young player, but Levante's preparation is outstanding. He diagnoses plays so well, and then his speed, he's instant. When he diagnoses, he's gone, and he really is a short tackler. He's had his hands on some balls this year, so this will be a big, big game coming up Monday night.
In special teams, there were some big plays, both a little bit positively and negatively. I know there was the big return that they were allowed 98 yards, but there also was the tackle of the punt when they tried to sort of fake it, which I enjoy that gave Justin Watson a sack in the stat line. So take us through maybe the special teams overall and a couple of those plays, what they did well and what maybe still could have used some improvement.
Yeah, take away the kickoff return where we missed the tackle and didn't fit it right. We should have a free hitter and hit him on about the 16-yard line. And we missed a tackle, and great effort by Sean Murphy-Bunting to run him down and let our defense get out on the field. Other than that, our special teams, again, playing great football, error-free, no penalties. Really, they have every trick in the book when it comes to punts, fakes. Keith had them ready to go, and we diagnosed that one extremely well, took away the pass, and got the sack. So that was big, huge field position change in that ball game.
All right, we still got one more segment coming up here on the Bruce Arians Show. We're going to get into that upcoming matchup against the Rams on Monday Night Football. We'll be right back. Welcome back in. It's time for our final segment here on the Bruce Arians Show, looking ahead to this matchup against the Rams. I mean, first, we got to talk about the fact it is a primetime game, and that's been where there have been a few struggles so far this season. So anything you're thinking about doing differently or a different approach to the game at all to try to figure out what has been causing some of those struggles?
Yeah, we're going to practice totally different. We're going to, I gave the guys off until Thursday. We're a really tired team. We haven't had a bye yet, so it's kind of a bit of a mini bye for us. Then Friday and Saturday night, we will practice at night, game same time as the game, and do a couple of different things on Monday morning to try to shake it up and see if we can start the game better.
And when it's the Rams, you always got to start the conversation with Aaron Donald and maybe also throw in a Jalen Ramsey here and there. So tell us, let's start on the defensive side and what those two guys bring, and then the defense overall, what you have to be aware of.
Yeah, it always starts with Aaron Donald, but Brockers and Leonard Floyd. They've got pass rushers. They play primarily a lot of zone coverage, but Jaydon will match up, and even though everybody else is playing zone, he'll play man to man. So he gives them great flexibility because he's an excellent corner. But their defensive front seven is outstanding. Great pressure on the quarterback and good against the run. Offensively, they haven't changed much. A lot of motion, a lot of jet sweep stuff. Jared Goff is playing really, really well. That was a big win for them against Seattle, and so it'll be a big matchup for us.
Yeah, and what have you seen from Jared Goff in the ways that he has grown, matured since recent years, and what he specifically brings?
Yeah, I think he and Sean McVay, having worked together this long now, have a really good understanding of what they're trying to get done, and he's not putting the ball in harm's way very often. So it's going to be. Turnovers would be huge for us in this ball game if we can get some. Other than that, we got to shut down the running game, obviously, and then just all the eye candy they use on offense with the motions and everything, keeping disciplined eyes for us defensively.
Yeah, and how about some of those individual offensive weapons, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Robert Woods, some of those guys, what do they bring and the challenges with them?
Robert Woods is he's a whole lot like Chris Godwin. He does all the dirty work, but he's an outstanding receiver. Cooper Kupp's our go-to guy in the middle of the field. Higbee's really come on as a tight end. So they've got great weapons. Don't know about Andrew Whitworth. That would be a big loss if they lost their left tackle because he's a heck of a player and a great veteran. Hate to see anybody get hurt in this game. But again, it's going to be a great challenge for us offensively against their defense, and same thing defensively for us against Jared Goff and his crew.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Coach, and congrats on that win, and good luck this next Monday against the Rams.
Appreciate it. Thank you.